Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my monthly favorites and fails for February 2023. So this is actually probably going to be a short video because I didn't try very much in February and a lot of it was off camera because it was a very, very busy month. But I have a few things that really did not work for me and a few things that worked very, very well, and I can't wait to talk about them. So if you're new, this is a video I do every month, generally the very beginning of the following month, where I come back and talk about all the items that I used or reviewed over the month. So sometimes there's a lot of items, sometimes not very many, and it's a chance for, let's say I did a first impression and I haven't posted a full detailed review of an item yet, I'll come in and check in it then. Sometimes I've already done a full detailed review, or sometimes, like some of these, I haven't used on camera very many times, but I've used a lot off camera. So this is my way of giving you more thoughts and checking in now that I've used things repeatedly. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup. And I particularly like indie makeup and high-end makeup. And I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to my reviews and my collection as a whole because I'm a scientist. And I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so like I said, this is gonna be probably a short video. I only have a handful of items here. I'm buying less, so these videos will be smaller for the foreseeable future. I tried too many things last year, so I'm trying less. I'm also looking for jobs, trying to spend less money. And like I've said in multiple videos, I'm really in refinement mode. I feel like refinement mode started the end of last year, like October, November last year, because there were all these things I wanted to buy on Black Friday and I ended up not buying them. And I'm really trying to, like, I know what I like. I know the brands I like, the formulas I like, the products I like, and I'm really trying to refine what I have. So if there's things that I don't love, use them, decide if I still really like them. But a lot of it's like I bought a couple eyeliners the other day that I haven't gotten here yet, but that's like because I'm looking for the perfect eyeliner for me, and I'll make a video about that journey eventually. But there's like certain things that I'm on the hunt for, but otherwise I'm pretty satisfied with my collection as a whole. So not a lot of new things coming in. There are lots of pretty things always launching. I'm just not buying very many of them. So I've already had my makeup done. I used all of the products that I'm going to talk about today. And then I felt like being cozy, so I'm wearing my cow sweater. It's all fuzzy. So first, let's start with the fails. So I do want to preface by saying some of these might be favorites or fails for me personally, but they might not be for you. So something that might be a fail for me might be a favorite for you. And so I try to always give context of why it didn't work so that you understand. And then you might know it's right for you. So the only outright fail that I had this month was the About Face matte paints. So I don't have them anymore. I already returned them and the shadow stick. So all I have of the About Face eye products left is the Fractal glitter paint, or the glitter mousse, I think. No, it just does say Fractal eye paint. But I kept this and I returned the rest. I'm still waiting on my refund for that, but they did receive them, so that should be coming soon. So I talked a lot in my video about those because I used those off and on repeatedly for a few weeks before I made that video. So I had a good idea about them, which is why I returned them too. So the matte paints did not work for me. So context in case you're new here, I have pretty normal skin. My face doesn't get overly oily. It doesn't really get dry. Sometimes, if I have stubble, that's dry, but it's not my skin, it's just the stubble. My nose can be kind of oily. You can tell I've been talking too much today because words are failing me. My nose can be kind of oily, not even my whole T-zone, just my nose. And my eyelids tend to be a little oily, so I have to use an eyeshadow primer. Something like the Urban Decay or the Nars. I haven't tried the Nars, but I've heard it's very good. It's just been out of stock forever. But I can't use concealer. I can't use the Sigma eye bases because they're not dry enough. They don't block oil well enough. So I was hoping the About Face eye paints would be something that I could use without a base or with a base, but like a base for a colorful look, like put the matte down, blend it, put some shimmer over it, or just wear an all matte look. I wear all matte looks, I don't know, 2/3 of the time. So I was really, really hopeful, and I got 2 shades, the purple, like Infinity, which is the eggplant, and then I got Hidden Garden because it's gray, but like there's a little bit of a green to it, and I'm a sucker for all things olive. Neither worked. So the gray I could use, I had to use a primer underneath, so it can't be a base for me. Because if I used it by itself or with something over it, within 3 hours, it was fully gone off my eye. Like it was just patchy messes and it looked awful. With an eyeshadow primer, it lasted a little bit longer, but it was still like patchy and faded weirdly and just did not work on my skin. I do know I am the abnormal one there. Most people love them. And I'm sad that I don't love them because the colors are really beautiful and they're a pretty affordable price. You do get less product, so like the Haus Labs ones or the Pat McGrath shimmers, or like there's lots of other brands that make liquid eyeshadows. Some of those cost more, but you get more product, so like it evens out. But I was really hopeful, so I'm just gonna have to stick with, for those kind of bases, I'm gonna have to stick with the lethal gel pot eyeliners, the melt eyeliners, or the Haus Labs paints. I can wear those without a primer. They last all day. I've worn them through Pride, sweating outside, like no issue. These didn't survive 3 hours at home. So, but I do know I'm not normal in that aspect, that most people love them, but it is good to know that that is an option, or that is not an option, but an option for how they might work in case you are concerned and you have like oily eyelids, or if you have trouble with them and you're like, is it just me? It might not be just you. I did like the fractal glitter. I kept it. It's not my favorite shimmer. It is pretty, it's got a lot of dimensional sparkle to it, which I really do like. But my best friend got the blue one as well, and she agreed. It's not the easiest to use. It's pretty easy for it to go patchy, blending with your finger or a brush. So it's not my favorite formula, but it's not a fail. It's nice. I'm gonna keep it. I might buy more later, especially on like a sale, but it's not like a run out and I need all of them kind of formula. So that's kind of in the middle. The shadow stick was awful. I couldn't use it as eyeliner. I couldn't use it as a shadow. I couldn't use it as a base. I couldn't use it over one of the matte shadows. Putting it over the matte shadow made it even more matte somehow. It didn't have a lot of shine. It was kind of a satin pearl, but it lost all of that. I had the shade Actual Ambrosia. It lost all of its shine. And it was funny because as an eyeliner, it would fade and be patchy, but then the little patches that were left were really hard to remove. And I do not understand that. Like, there would just be like little stripe, little stripe, little stripe, or even if I used it all over the lid, there'd be like little stripes left. Even with an eyeshadow primer, it melted away, but it would like, and crease and looked awful, but there'd be like little stripes that like were really hard to get off. So there's something in there that was like trying to make it be long wearing, but it wasn't working. And then even though it was melting off and creasing and doing things that you would expect a really emollient formula to do, it was also really tight on my eyelids. So I have a lot of sensory issues. I'm very sensitive to feelings on my body, like clothing fitting me, clothing material, things on my face. There's certain like I can't use regular moisturizer on my face. I have to use a gel moisturizer. The regular kind just kind of sits on my face and feels greasy and makes me anxious. But it was like tight, like my eyelids kind of hurt whenever I used it. So shadow stick and matte eye paints from About Face were the biggest fails that I've had in months of trying, like probably almost a year of doing these videos. They're like some of the worst fails that I've had. But I do like to preface skin type, skin texture, all of that, because I know they work for most people. So in the favorites category, something that was great from About Face and I want more of is their new lipstick. So this is the About Face Cherry Pick Lip Color Butter. I have the shade The Cranberries. It's made in Korea, and it is vegan and has an 18-month shelf life. It's really great. It's what I'm wearing on my lips right now. You can go really opaque. I don't like super opaque things that can transfer because then I will get them everywhere. So I tend to put a lighter layer on and kind of rub my lips together and sheer it out a little bit, but you can get really opaque with this. And it's so comfortable. It smells delicious. It smells fruity, like I want to eat it. Like it smells like a fruity candy. Really comfortable on the lips, lasts pretty well. I wish it had more of a staying power and a stain, like the almost lipstick from Clinique that leaves like a nice stain after it wears off, so your lips still look good even once it's fully gone. I wish this did that, but this is great. And there's other shades I want to get. Like there's a peachy one, and there's some other, like there's multiple shades I want to get now. But I don't need any more lip products, so holding off for now. But really, really recommend this. The smell does fade. I don't smell anything right now, but it's great. It is very opaque though, so if you have to purposely shear it out. It's not a buildable formula. It comes out opaque. But it's comfortable and it's lovely, and I'm really happy about that. I was really nervous because some of the promo material said it had avocado oil in it, and I looked at the ingredients list and there wasn't avocado oil, and so I emailed customer service and they were like, let us check with the manufacturing, like, you know, with the lab, and they were like, no, there's no avocado oil. And I was like, well, here's pictures of the promos that you've posted on your social media and on Ulta's website and stuff that says it has avocado oil in it. And they're like, yes, I saw those. There's no avocado oil in it. So it's a little weird for a brand to like advertise ingredients that aren't there. And then when you like, that weirds me out a little bit, but that's the only downside to this. Okay, so sticking with liquid eyeshadows, this is the last thing that I have a dedicated video on my channel about that I'm going to talk about, and that is the Pat McGrath liquid eyeshadows. So I have two of the shades. I have Platinum Bronze and Cosmic Chartreuse. I have a video trying these out and comparing them to the Eldridge shadows and stuff, and I do want to do a whole video on liquid eyeshadows. I was going to include these in that, but I returned them while I could, so they're not going to be there. These are really nice. I really like them. I think there's a difference in formula between the two shades though, and I talked about that in my video. So I'm wearing the green one today, and the green one is beautiful. It's very green, but I prefer the green from Lisa Eldridge because you can blend I prefer Lisa Eldridge's formula in general now. You can blend the edges better. So like with the shade Daphne from Lisa Eldridge, it's a little less shiny than this, but I can put it on my lid, use my finger or a brush and blend the edges and just have like a one and done. Like the edges look matte and blended, and it's just like a one and done look, and that's what I like those for. This is more of a traditional liquid eyeshadow, like metallic, where you just put it over. It doesn't blend out very easily. I've tried multiple times with different types of brushes and my finger, and sometimes if you're blending, you can like, I'll notice there's like a bald patch and I'll have to go back in and add a little bit more. So I'm glad I have these. I don't know if I'll pick up more, but I do like that I have these. And then the Platinum Bronze has a little more opacity to it. It has a little bit more of a base color, so that one you can blend the edges of a little bit better and do like a full one and done look with. So that's what I mean, like there's differences between the colors. Like the green doesn't have as much base to it, but the bronze does. It's more pigmented, it has more of a base. It's a little more similar to the Lisa Eldridge shadows. So I might pick up more in the future, especially during a sale. If she does like another 30 or 40% off sale and they're in stock, I might pick up another shade or two, because there were a couple more I wanted, but I think overall, like it's about the same price as the Lisa Eldridge shadows. It's like $2 more, but you get a lot more product in this. So if it's a shade you like, and that's the kind of formula you like, totally worth it. I mean, they last all day. I use an eye primer, of course, but they last all day on me. They look beautiful, but it really just depends on what kind of formula you're looking for and making an informed decision on what you're going for. Do you want like a thin, really, really sets down shimmer like the Haus Labs liquid paints, the metallic ones? Do you want something a little more liquidy like the Sydney Grace ones, which are a great deal? Do you want something that you can easily do a quick one and done with like Lisa? Do you want like a long wearing, beautiful, standard metallic liquid eyeshadow? So you're gonna have to pick. And I'll do a video on everything soon. It's just a matter of time. Having it, that is. Okay, so last couple products. This is the Nars. I think I tagged this in some videos, but I put the wrong shade. But this is the new Nars Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder. I have the shade Bay, and my husband got the shade Cliff, because he does wear makeup sometimes. He has the Nars Tinted Moisturizer and the Fenty Concealer. But it is the golden, like the yellow undertone shade. They have a couple medium shades, but the one that's just like medium was like too neutral and looked weird against my skin. Being an olive, anything too neutral kind of pulls weird. Like it was a little too peachy. But this, because I already go with a more golden or yellow tone for like the Haus Labs or Kosas, I just went with this one. And it is great. I love the compact. It's very thin, very travel friendly. I took this with me to New York. It's got a nice mirror, so you can actually do your eye makeup with it if you want. It's small enough that you can bring it with you to touch up if you also have a brush. It is definitely a matte powder, so if you don't like matte powders, you're not gonna like this. I saw some reviews on YouTube when this first came out that were people with dry skin who don't like matte powders, and then they bought it and they complained that it was too matte, and it was like, what are you doing? Like, what did you expect? But it is matte. I've used it to set my face. I've used it to just do under, around my T-zone. I've done a layer of this under foundation as like a layer to help block oil, because it's supposed to have something in it that like blocks oil over time. And I think it does a pretty good job of that. I haven't needed to touch up. I wore this for like 12 hours one day in New York out and about doing stuff, and I still looked fine when I got home. I didn't have to do anything to my makeup really. I think after 12 hours, I changed my lipstick because I was wearing something else, and I put this lipstick on, and I put a little bit more of this in my T-zone, and then I went out for another few hours until I think I did that at like 9 p.m. and I got home at midnight. So like it lasted all day. It looked great. It melts into the skin nicely, especially if you put a little too much on and you feel a little too matte, a little spray of setting spray kind of melts it all together, but doesn't stop it from working. Great. And I do think it works well under foundation. If you're really oily and you put a little powder under your, set your primer with it, I think it works for that too. So really happy with this. It was $36, but you do get 9 grams of product and really nice little packaging. So I'm happy with this a lot. I definitely wanted something a little bit more matte than the Kosas or the Haus Labs for when I'm a little more shiny. So I think this will be nice in the summer, especially. And my last 2 products I have been using, I got them a week and a half ago, I think. And it is the Haus Labs blush and the Milk Makeup contour stick. So I got the Haus Labs blush the day it came out. I went to Sephora and picked it up, and I've used it every day since then. I did use a different blush when I filmed my Get Ready With Me that you haven't seen yet and won't see until after this video this weekend. But I used Pat McGrath mostly for my face in that video. So I used my Pat McGrath blush for that. But otherwise, I've been using this. I've worn it on no makeup days, like literally no makeup. I just put a little bit on for some color, or I put a little bit of under eye concealer on, and this. It is, I think, my favorite blush formula. It's better than Pat McGrath in my opinion. It's expensive. It's like $38, but you do get 11 grams of product, and it's the same size as the bronzer from Haus Labs, which is about the same price. It's in that $30-something range, and this you get 12 grams. So this is the Velvet Bronzer, Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer, and this is the Color Fuse Blush. So it's a similar formula where it's kind of a gel to powder. The bronzer, you can see I already have a pretty big dent in it. This feels like velvet. It's very smooth, but like with a bit of a texture to it. Like it feels velvety. Like if you've ever touched suede or velvet, it feels like that. This feels a little different. I got the shade Pomelo Peach. It's what I'm wearing on my cheeks. It melts into the skin so nicely. So the Color Fuse name is supposed to be like, it fuses with your skin. And it's so pretty. It lasts all day. I've worn it all day, like, 10, 12 hours, and it still looked nice. My face still looked nice at the end of the day. It just like looks really natural, but you can build it up if you want or need. And the formula feels kind of like velvet still, but a little more dense. It's like there's a little bit more density, like a little bit more of a gel. I know the Lipstick Lesbians on TikTok are one of the few beauty people I follow, and she said it kind of feels like the squalene that's in Biosense stuff, like the way that spreads, and I agree. It does have that like squalene, like, I don't know, there's like a gel, kind of hydrating gel kind of, I don't know. It feels really interesting. I had my best friend try it. She loved it, but she touched it and she was like, I told her, it was like, it feels kind of clay-like. Like if this is velvet, this is like soft clay, in the best way possible. And I really like it. It picks up on brushes really greatly, works great, really love it. And I want them to make more shades. I kind of want to get the Watermelon Red, but this is like my go-to. And if they come out with a terracotta color, I'm buying it immediately. And then the last thing is the Milk Contour Stick. So this is the Sculpt Stick in Stoked. So it's the medium shade. So they have a light, fair to light. This is light, medium to medium. And then there's like a tan to deep and a very deep. I do think they could expand the shade range a little bit in the middle. And like between shade 3 and shade 4 have another one or something. But it is a really inclusive shade range, especially for how deep the dark one goes. Really love that. I do like that it's an actual contour, so it's actually kind of cool toned versus like the contour stick from Mario is, the light medium and the light shade are pretty cool toned, but the rest are just bronzers. Most of the time they're just bronzers. Even some of the cool tone ones from Fenty are still warm. This is weird. I mean, there's something about the oliveness of my skin where like it looks cooler in the middle of my face than on the outside, but I really like this. So I saw a lot of people complain about the packaging and how small it is for the price, because it's like $24. You do still get a lot of product. It's 5.7 grams of product for $24. The Fenty matchsticks are 7 grams of product. So like 1.3 grams more for $29, $30. So like, it makes sense. It's just the packaging is smaller, and I actually appreciate that it's small, it's travel friendly, it's compact, and also if it's best to, use a brush, put it on your brush and put it on your face. But if you are someone that wants to draw on your face with it, I'm not going to at the moment, but you can, it's small. You don't want to draw on your face with a huge bronzer. I've seen people take the original Milk Makeup bronzer that's like this big and draw on their face, and then they have no control, and then their whole face is just covered in bronzer. I actually saw Michaela do that on TikTok recently, where like she had the bronzer, I don't know what bronzer it was, but it was just like engulfed her face in bronzer, and then her throat, like it was just so much bronzer. This is small, which is good for precision. You can draw on your nose, you can hollow out your cheeks, you can put it where you need to. They say to open it easier to like scroll up and have it pop off, but I've seen a lot of people struggle to open the top and then like rip some off. I haven't had an issue yet, but I've had a blush in their little mini format, so I kind of knew what to expect. It's a little hard to open at first, but like, you just gotta be careful. And if you twist this and push more product up, it's supposed to make it easier. But I really love it. It's cool tone without looking ashy. It looks nice. It's the first contour stick I've actually bought, because it's the first one that actually works on my skin tone. So I'm very happy. I also think it's a nice one because it shears, you can build it up, but it shears out nicely. So if you want that soft, natural looking sculpt and you don't want to look like you did a bunch of contour, it does that very well. So really, really like that. Really happy with it. Okay, so that is everything. Like I said, no palettes this month. I did buy some eyeliners, but they're not here yet. And yeah, this has been my mode lately, doing a lot of the same looks, doing the same product. I mean, I always use the same products over and over again. If you look at my description box where I link and just put everything I use, it's like 2/3 of the products are the same all the time, and they always have been. So I'm just not buying as many eyeshadows right now. Oh, I also want to add that I have had some time to film over this weekend. So I have 4 other videos that I need to edit. So this is gonna go up tomorrow because I want it as close to February as possible. And then I have 4 other videos for the rest of this week and next week. And hopefully we'll have time later this week to film some more so I can start building back up, having a little more regular content than once a week. So very excited for that. And I really hope you like some of the videos. I'm very, very happy with them so far. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, if you've tried any of these or thinking about them. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.